Hello, how are ya? My name is Angel. I'm in the Head Hutt. It's a beautiful evening, and as usual, I'm here to check in with my body. Do a little de-stressing, a little decluttering of the mind and body, little playful movement, and I invite you to join me to whatever degree feels good in your body. I encourage you to listen to your own body, play a little bit, shake some stuff off, put down some stresses. You can always choose to pick them back up in the near future. Or you can just wait a while and new stresses will arrive. It's almost guaranteed. But enough about me. I'm a little congested. We got springtime dust and pollen, and I'm about to go out for my sunset stroll. But before I do, I'm just going to check in with these hips, actually. I was going to check in with the spine, but I realized I've been sitting a little while, and I'm getting ready to, as I mentioned, stroll. So, let's see if I can adjust this at all. We're dealing with various, let me take a sip of my iced tea. Various camera angle challenges. We can deal with it. We got this. I'm going to start with a couple of deep breaths. Let's just do a couple shoulder shrugs in there and bringing my attention into the bottoms of my feet. Shrugging again. Wiggle that out. And one more time. Shrugging up. Wiggling that out. I'm gonna keep both feet firmly on the ground. The temptation as I slide the hips over to the left is to take weight off of this right foot. But what I'm going to try to do instead is to keep that foot firmly planted, both feet firmly planted, and focus on pushing from that foot through the center, through the hip girdle, and kind of pulling down at the end there. For me, that gives a stretch up in here, and it helps if I bend this left knee a little bit to help pull this hip down. I'm trying to keep these hip bones parallel to the floor. For me, this is quite challenging. Again, the temptation is to take weight off the foot, and I'll be doing that later. It helps to just bend both knees a little bit slightly and then slide over to the left and sliding over to the right and over to the left and over to the right and one more time to the left and over to the right. Shake that out a little bit. And now I'm going to do it with weight taken off of that foot and pushing. So instead of stretching in the torso here, I'm going to bring that stretch down into the hip socket and being mindful that that's a ball and socket joint. And while I want to keep it limber and flexible, I also don't want to damage it or overstretch it or pop it out or push it beyond its capability today. It's why I like to check in with it regularly to keep its capabilities up there. But also I mention it because it is an area that often gets dysfunctional from all the sitting we do. So I'm just kind of playing, pushing into, exploring that hip socket back over on the left. You could imagine a little music beat. Kapow, kaboom, kaba, cha. whatever word works for you. Let's go a little bit deeper. So taking weight completely off the right and really pushing into that left hip. Just feeling for what feels good there. Gonna kind of rotate that around in the hip socket. Just exploring that. Now that it's warmed up, really stretching into it Coming back to center, shake that out, and then pushing over into the right, taking most of the weight off the left, and just pushing into that side. Exploring that a little bit, and then again coming back to center, shake that out. I'm going to come into a straddle position. I'm keeping my feet relatively parallel, facing forward, and kick them out, toes out if that feels better. And in fact, I encourage you to kind of play with changing that up a little and see how that changes the stretch. For me, that brings, coming into the straddle position brings the stretch down into the inner thighs. And I'm just going to dip, keeping both feet rooted, dipping on the right, dipping up on the left. For me, that brings a stretch down into the inner thigh, and dipping on the left, pulling up on the right. Again, stretching over on the low side for me, and maybe a little bit deeper this time over on the right. Maybe not deeper, depending on how it feels. Sometimes I get a little hitch, a little rebound, a little twinge. It's important to just, the point here is not to hurt ourselves, it's to check in lovingly and create a dialogue, a loving relationship, an open-hearted conversation with our body. Dipping on the right and then on the left. Just giving that some time to relax, to release. Let's go a little bit deeper into that straddle position. For me, that brings the stretch up a little higher into the groin, which I do like to do later in the stretch after things are warmed up a little. And again, I encourage you to definitely listen to your own body. Don't push too far past your comfort zone. Maybe just explore the edges of that comfort zone a little bit. Dipping on each side a few times. Back over on the right. And one more time on the left. One more time on the right. Let's walk these feet back. Just heel to toe back under the hips. Maybe stomp those out a little bit. Let's do just a little stretching and balancing through the leg, through the lower legs a little more. I'm going to bring that stretch down, so I'm going to bring weight onto the right. And bring this left knee up toward left shoulder, relaxing those shoulders. Let's do a little ankle rotation to loosen those up. Checking in with the supporting side, relaxing that foot, tipping the tailbone under, relaxing those shoulders. And if you're feeling steady enough, reaching for the bottom of that foot. I like to give a nice stretch through the backs of the shoulders there, and then kind of pull back up on that foot. Straighten that out forward as much as possible. Again, working to really relax that supporting side, tipping the tailbone under a little bit. Let's bring that out to the side. Ooh la la. We've got some tension. I've not been doing my usual routine, and I'm feeling it, so I'm happy to be getting back to it. I know on here I probably say that every day because I only record myself when I'm doing it, right? Anyway, setting my foot on that leg. I think it's important to not beat ourselves up when we don't do the usual routine, but I also like to note how quickly I feel a little weaker. I set that down. A little less balanced. All the things, and it's a good reminder of why it's important to show up regularly. Do the routine. It tends to feel easy after a while, and I think I forget how important it is and how much good it's doing me until I don't do it, and then it gets hard again, and that's a good testament to how much good it's doing me. Bringing my weight over to the left and lifting this right knee toward right shoulder. Just taking my time, finding my balance there. Relaxing that supporting side. Relaxing the shoulders. Let's give a little ankle rotation and the other way. Nice and long and strong from that relaxed supporting foot through the center. And if it feels okay, reaching for the bottom of that foot. Getting a nice stretch through the backs of the shoulders there. And then pulling back in those shoulders. Again, relaxing that supporting foot. It's feeling a little wobbly there, but I will see if I can straighten this leg out forward or close to it. Giving that a little time to release and relax. Bringing that out to the side a little bit. Exploring that hip socket a little bit more. I'm going to keep that short since I'm wobbly and bring this foot in close to the groin. See if I can find a moment of peaceful balance here. Swinging this knee out, tipping the tailbone under, and tipping right over. All right, we'll set that down. Stomp it out a little bit. I've had swollen hands for quite some time. Been in a high end of a flare-up for a long while, but which is part of why I tend to taper off my exercises and exactly why I should be continuing to do them. So it's a good reminder. If you're like me and you struggle with some autoimmune issues or some trauma issues, some what do we want to call them? You know, unresolved childhood or generational issues that many of us are working on. Letting go of stress regularly, stretching, keeping the body in flow, flexible, getting rid of stagnation. Those things are super important. So I hope you're giving yourself that. I will continue to do my best to give myself that and invite you to join me whenever I can. I do thank you for stopping by. Drop me a comment and let me know you were here if you care to. Give me a thumbs up. Check out the description if you want to find other ways of connecting with me. And I thank you if you do. Till next time, peace.